Albert Becker again, and this is my part 2 to my reflective diary part 8. So in the first video I talked a lot about my critical incident, and along the way a lot of learning has been done, and I'll go back to the critical incident, which is when I approached my PM shift supervisor the next day when he got in for his shift, bailed him up, and proceeded to flood him with a barrage of questioning as to why he didn't fill in the end of shift supervisor's report. His initial answer of he didn't have time triggered my default routine, and I think it did that because I spent a lot of time the day before going over this report and identifying what needed improving, and spent time in allowing both the supervisors for any questioning and any reflecting that they wanted to do. So that really got me agitated, and I felt like not much attention was paid at that first meeting. So my default routine quickly kicked in. I got agitated, my voice got tight, I got frustrated, my voice became stern and became very threatening as well. Also, my conversation was all one-sided. I really didn't let the PM shift supervisor into the conversation, and that was and I think I handled it that way because just I felt like I was let down from that initial meeting. So looking back on it now, that default routine really was ineffective, and the major reason was because it didn't achieve anything. All it did was put space between us going forward, and at the meeting his default routine kicked in and he became agitated. His answers became very, very negative. They became negative to the report. It was all along the lines of, why should I be doing the report, and why do we really need an upgraded report, things like that. So very ineffective. I guess I didn't mean to come across that way. I think I came across that way finding out now, and just I think I did a little bit more learning from my personality type in the in my Jung type, the ENFJ type. I think just through my caring and nurturing way, I tried to make sure that in the initial meeting, all that information, I took the time to really spend the time in that initial meeting going over all that information and covering all that I felt like I was being let down. That's what it felt like. So that is why things got out of control, and I got agitated out of that. And looking back, I guess things that I need to do is to recognize that at the time and take myself out of that situation. So whether it's taking some really big deep breaths, or focusing maybe a little bit more on the person and identifying the person's need, because I didn't really stop and identify that the supervisor had issues. He had learning issues, he had written and oral issues. I did not identify any of that, so I probably should have spent some one-on-one time with him, used a bit of empathy in helping him along the way, spending some quality one-on-one time with him. So next time I know all these things now, I'm going to stop myself prior to getting myself into these routines. I'm going to take some extra time identifying any extra issues that people may have, and if I do get myself into a default routine, I think I'm just going to either take some, if I find myself agitated, that is, I'll take some deep breaths, maybe step away from the situation, maybe leave the room for a minute, go and get a glass of water, things like that, and then redraw on it. I think that's covering, and also maybe finding an alternative environment, because my initial environment was very closed in and only allowed. It was my environment. It wasn't a medium type of place. It wasn't a meeting room. It was my office, and it probably allowed me to be comfortable, but not everybody else. So maybe finding a different environment next time could also assist in that. So a lot of finding along the way. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you.